Today we're going to overhaul the brakes on the GTI. So today we've got a bit of work to do on the brakes. New racing season's about to start, the brakes are a little bit tired, so time to give them a little bit of a freshen up. What does that mean for me? So in my category I can't put a BBK on, I have to use the factory size disc and caliper. Technically I can't even use stainless steel lines, which is a real shame. So this here is really about maximizing what I've got. So I call it getting the most out of the factory braking system. And here's how we're going to do it. So we have here a freshly machined OE disc. This one's only about 12 months old. Got this for free off a mate who was upgrading, and that'll do the job nicely. It's really important that you do give discs a skim. It cost me about 35 bucks Aussie each to get these skimmed, so $70, still way cheaper than getting a new set. The OEM discs are really good quality. Actually, they came up really nicely after a skim and they'll do the job. We've also got these Forza FR6 pads. Now these are they're a track pad. I guess you'd describe them as a track pad that you can still use on the street. So they are meant to be sort of similar to an Endless mk7, which I was using before. They're good for about up to 700 degrees, which is pretty good. These are meant to be similar, if not a bit better, but I don't have an exact temp spec on it. Even comes with the plug, which the Endless pads don't, and they were half the price of the Endless. I haven't used them before, but I'm really keen to see how these go. They're pretty popular here in Australia. We also have some high temp brake fluid. This is for Auto Racing. It's got a dry boiling point of 300 degrees C, which should be more than sufficient. We've got these. So these are Audi Sport RS3 air guides, you call them. Air guides, brake ducts. It's not quite a duct, but similar effect. You attach these to the lower control arm on each side, and it directs air towards the brake to cool it down. Really cheap and effective upgrade. Even comes with these zip ties. They just strap onto the lower control arm. They're really cheap. I'll have these available in the store, so I'll put a link up probably in the comments. I don't think I'm allowed to link them in the videos yet. I'll put a link in the comments to the store. I grabbed like about 20 pair of these when I ordered them because it's not much difference in shipping. So I'll have them in the store. I then have these. So these are titanium shims which go on the back of your pad like that. And the idea is that it acts as a bit of a barrier between your disc and pad, which obviously takes the brunt of the heat, and the fluid. So the only other thing I probably want to do as well, if I could, is braided brake lines, and then that would be like, that's pretty much everything you can do to get the most out of this factory braking system, except maybe you could go two-piece rotors as well, but it's like $1,000 for a pair of two-piece rotors, right? It cost me $70 to get some OEM discs machined, so that would be one step up. you could go, but next year I might actually change categories, move to a different setup. So that's why I don't want to spend big bucks yet this year. But I think this is going to do the job quite nicely. So let's get to it. Here's the disc that's been taken off the car. You can't see really well here, but it's actually riddled with cracks, and they were getting a little bit long, so it was time to change. Time for a freshen up. Now you'll see here the hub. It's really important that you clean up the hub as good as you can, so I'm actually going to use some sort of wet and dry to clean that up and get all the rust off, so it's a flat surface. So here we have the air guide actually installed on the car, on the lower control arm. Here's where the air passes, so this is from the front of the car. Air actually passes up from underneath the car through that duct, hits the air guide and deflects onto the disc, which isn't on the car at the moment, but that's the idea, that's how it works. Really simple and really effective. So the brakes are on, and I've been able to test them at the track. So I'm actually able to give some feedback. You saw in that last clip just then, that was actually from the track. The footage I shot there was a bit windy, so I'm not going to use any of that. It's a little bit annoying. But overall, I'm really pleased with how the brakes worked. Now, I was using some pretty worn out Nankang semi-slicks. They were on their last legs. They delaminated by the end of a couple of sessions. But even with that being the case, I was able to rely on my brakes for more laps than I was able to previously. So the combination of the Audi Sport air guides, some fresh fluid, freshly skimmed discs, the new pad compound from Forza, and the titanium shims all working together actually gave a pretty pleasing result for a stock brake setup. I was definitely able to be comfortable and rely on my brakes for more laps than I was able to previously. Before, even after 3 laps, I could feel I had to back up my braking points a little bit, but they definitely stayed more consistent for longer. They did still lose some performance after a while, but I was doing like 20-minute sessions out on the track in this practice, so I'm more than happy for that, and I'm looking forward to getting more out of them in this upcoming Super Sprints season. So that's it from me. I'm going to leave you with a bit of a video here of me chasing down an RS5 on the track day, and you can see here how well the brakes are working. This car has more power than me. You can see him pulling away from me ever so slightly on any of the straights, but under braking, I'm really closing the gap there to him. So very pleased with how the brakes are working. So I'll leave it there. As always, have fun in your cars and keep it on the black stuff.